What's up guys, welcome to G Whiskey. My name's Jeff. Now this is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our review. Today we're looking at Deanston 12-year-old Sherry Oak. Stick around. So we're back with another Deanston today, and if you follow this channel, you know that I'm kind of on the fence about Deanston. So far, I like a lot of what they put out, but I haven't really been wowed. The Virgin Oak was pretty nice. I'm okay with the 12 and the 18-year-old, but neither are favorites. I've yet to find an expression that really blows me away. But still, when I come across a new Deanston, particularly one this affordable, it does make me a little bit curious. Now this is a 12-year-old finished in Sherry Oak casks, and I should say off the top that this is a Taiwan exclusive. Now, it seems like Taiwan gets a lot of these kind of exclusive, sherried, entry-level expressions. We've got our Deanston here. You have like a 12-year-old, I think it's an Amontillado finish from Glenfiddich. You have a 13-year-old Oloroso matured one. There's a bunch of them out there. Taiwan seems to love its sherry. And of course that works for me because I love sherry too. Now this bottle is one of two entry-level expressions that are exclusive to the Taiwan market. This one is the 12-year-old. We have another one that's a no age-stated expression, just called Sherry Cask Finish. I might get around to a review of that one eventually. Both of these are going to be part of Deanston's core range here, so they're not limited runs. Now because these are Taiwan exclusives, I couldn't find too much information on them in English, and my Chinese is not very good, so I do have a limited amount of information about them. But tell you what, a 12-year-old sherried expression from a respected distillery, already enough to pique my interest. So with that said, why don't we hop into our review, see what this whiskey's all about, and in the meantime, if you can kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So the specs on this one are kind of weird. Usually Deanstons come in at 46.3%. That's kind of like the standard ABV for them. This one unfortunately comes in at a measly 40%. Beyond that, it is a chill filtered expression. Now luckily it is naturally colored, so we've got 1 out of 3 there, but admittedly not ideal. So I'll show you our color here. It's a reasonably dark whiskey. Have our standard Deanston bottling style here. It's like a faux craft look. So you have your printed on stamp, your printed on signatures. Bottom corner here says finished in sherry casks. We've also got some tasting notes here on the back. Beyond that, just kind of your classic Deanston look, which I do like. So I'll give it a presentation score here of 3.5 out of 5. I do wish there was a little bit more information. For example, what kind of sherry casks are being used? How long is your finish? Now we do know it's chill filtered, but it is naturally colored, and they could mention that on the bottle. What they do mention is that this is made with the best ingredients, using traditional methods, and that this whiskey embodies their community spirit. And I think that's fantastic. Let's try our nose. Sherry. There is definitely some dried fruits in here, some honey, some malt, some toffee, maybe some baking spices. I'm getting some roasted nuts in this, and kind of like a fruity pastry note, so like maybe a berry turnover. Now for our palate. Okay, so a bit light in the body here. Comes in on a beautiful dark honey note. You have salted toffee in here. You have some aniseed, some dried apricots. There's also some cinnamon in here. There's a little bit of leather and some sultanas. Now for our finish. Okay, so you have some oak coming in here. Really nice interplay between like the oak, that leather note, and some of those sherry notes, the fruitier notes. You're coming in on gentle spices. There's some treacle in here. There's some red cherries, and there's some dark berries. Now, this isn't a long finish. I would say it is short, but really beautiful flavors in here and pretty good intensity for something of 40%. So this is actually really nice stuff. I enjoy the taste of this. Of course, at 40% ABV, it does come off light. That lower ABV is doing it no favors, but the flavors themselves, really, really nice. Decent complexity to it, and a surprising amount of sophistication here. But considering this is a whiskey at 40%, it does have a decent amount of intensity to it, much more than I expected. Of course, some of the flavors still are a little bit light, and I find myself wishing for higher ABVs here. Of course, I wish I had it at least at 46%. Better yet, give me this at cask strength and it would be a banger. Great interplay of flavors here. You have that oak, you have that leather, and you have those sherry notes coming together beautifully. And I also really like the sherry profile in this. There's kind of like this dark, treacly sweetness in there, never gets too heavy or too brooding. And finally, I do like that these modern Deanstons, they're less perfume heavy. A lot of the older Deanstons, they kind of bothered me. There's like this big perfumey note that kind of overwhelmed a lot of the other flavors. I'm not getting that here. It is present, but it's much more toned down and worked in. So this is a good whiskey. I do enjoy it. I'm going to give it a respectable 84 in terms of score. Now, when I drink this, I'm reminded of a lot of other expressions out there that have delicious flavors and they just come off a little bit light. Good example of that might be Macallan 12 Sherry Oak. Like this, it's got some beautiful sherry notes in there, decent complexity, really lovely stuff, and at the end of the day, it's just too light in the pants and that takes away from your enjoyment. Ultimately, still a delicious whiskey, but something's missing. Now, aside from the lower ABV, I really can't fault this whiskey for too much. Beautiful, beautiful flavors in here. Maybe not super complex, but very good interplay between those notes. And as I said earlier, this is the kind of sherry profile that I vibe with that dark sweetness. So just makes it feel that much more tragic that I don't get to try this at 46% or higher. If I did, guaranteed this would get a great score. So yeah, this is not a great whiskey as it stands, but it does have the potential to be great. And you know, on one hand, I'm happy that it's delicious, but on the other hand, it just feels a little bit tragic, kind of like a missed opportunity. Luckily, it comes in on the affordable side, so I don't mind having this as a casual sipper. Value on this is going to be pretty good. It is an entry-level expression. It's very affordable. The awkward part is that it's only available in Taiwan, so if you're watching from outside of Taiwan, definitely not one you should go out of your way to source. A lot of these Taiwan exclusives, they'll end up on auction sites for exorbitant price tags. Some of them are really, really good and might be worth your time, might be worth seeking out, but this is not one of them. Like I said, 40%, relatively simple whiskey. It's no unicorn. Now, if you do have access to this whiskey, I think it's a great casual sipper that's not going to break the bank. Like I said, you have some quality sherry flavors in here and generally just a very pleasing profile. I really enjoy drinking this whiskey. So yeah, if you can grab it, worth trying for those quality flavors despite the low ABV. Alright, that'll be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hit subscribe down below, click that little bell icon, and of course, smash the like. Now, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried Deanston 12 Sherry Oak? Have you even heard of it where you are? And finally, down in the comments, let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.